Hi everyone. Okay, so you guys said that I should offer these for sale instead of burning them. So I'm offering it for sale, but this is probably one of the ones that I really would like to burn pages out of it at least, at the very least, if not just burn the whole thing. Just opening it up to look through it before I recorded this video was triggering, to say the least. So I'm going to try to get through this one and not get into too much detail, but this journal at this time almost stopped me from ever even drawing anything again, let alone sharing it publicly or teaching or doing anything else. Be careful what you do and say to your friends online, because you can harm people even when you have the best of intentions. Okay, so I was playing around with making my own washi tape. I absolutely still love the idea of making my own washi tape. I will never do it, but other than just for myself privately. But this is that semi-transparent medical tape, and I went through a whole process of playing around with making my own. Absolutely loved it. There are a lot of super busy, more testing supplies out type of pages in this. This is a very busy journal. So if you like busy pages, that's cool. Also too, this is not a journal for anyone who only wants happy things, because this journal has a lot of pain in it. There's a lot of real happening in some of these journals. And there are, I tossed one aside already today that I would just never, I don't ever want to look at it again. So actually, I think there's two I'm going to toss. But anyway, I'm not even going to record them. Okay, so yeah, I was enjoying making little pockets and finding places to tuck in art that people sent to me. This was like a really weird moment. I just don't even know why I made this page. I love it, don't get me wrong, but this is very much my style of art that I do often, or did do often, in altered books, right? So like there's lots of heavy texture, and it's I don't know, like it's just really not my current style in any way, but it was definitely a throwback to the days when I did a lot of altered book pages. And now we start to get into what I mean when I say that these are all like really busy pages. I thought that lifted. Yeah, it does. I was super into very busy stuff. It just gets worse. I took a class from someone who taught how to do stuff like this. There's more pages. Oh, I guess that doesn't come out. There's more pages further in that have that. Oh, yeah, well, here we go. I called it Lost Playing in Someone Else's Garden, because I paid to take a class to learn how to do these cute little faces. And I don't even know if I know whose class that was, and that's really bad. I feel a little embarrassed by that. This was a technique that I played with a lot in my journal so that I could teach people how to do it. And it was just using very random stamps and mixing them all up on a single sheet of acetate and then stamping that way. Again, very busy pages. This one says, hands off my rights, no longer the weaker sex. I don't remember, something was happening politically that was the reason I was saying that, but I can't remember now why. And this page that I drew this girl on was a map page, and it said legend, and I just wrote, I am legend. I have no idea why. I don't think I'm a legend by any means. And there is a lot of practice for Painted Faces 2 in here. Everything that I did in that class, I practiced it in advance in a journal. When I did Painted Faces 1, I just straight up just recorded everything without any pre-advanced practice or anything. And I got enough negative feedback from, you know, I don't use those face colors. I expected normal face colors. That's not how you do hair. I got so much of that I was like, I'm going to practice, because, you know, my head was, oh, I didn't do something right, instead of people are just picking on me. I'm just in general being jerks. So I thought, well, I'll practice everything first. Also, too, Painted Faces 2 was very definitely about experimental techniques. So you'll see a lot of those types of things in here where I was trying to pre-practice stuff. This was the first thing that I did that led me to creating the Scrappy Journal class, because this was all just a couple of pieces of leftover scrapbook paper glued together and turned into I made a piece of paper from a bunch of little pieces of paper. And that was like the start of that for me. And again, I was still practicing these little faces, and one of my artist friends was encouraging me to try to do faces and little characters that were different. You might, if you know who my artist friends used to be a long time ago, you would probably recognize who that person was. Again, there's a lot of things that are very busy. I really liked very busy stuff back then. my toes. If you buy this journal, you'll have a picture of my face and my toes. Yay! Again, still playing with that concept of different kinds of girls. This is painted on a piece of acetate, and both faces, you can kind of see through it still. This was a leftover piece that didn't fit in the, I think it was a journal I was making. Anyway, I literally just poked holes and tied it to the page. And then I don't even know what's in here. If it's really personal, I'll probably pull that out. But anyway, I haven't looked at it yet. This is also someone else's art that they sent to me. This is poured wax, and I don't know why I poured wax on my page, but that's poured wax. I can't make you love me. I was going through a really rough time. This was I don't remember. I started to say it was collage, but I guess I drew it. But it was based on those faces that were in another journal that I've already released the video on, where I was using art from a craft magazine. This was just like following that thought along. This was also a test piece. I don't know how well you can tell that there's that hair is like just textured. That was practice for. There's a couple of these in here for Painted Faces 2. Just busy. More of those tall, long bodies. Still the tall, long body, but you know, the head's kind of big. I wrote on here with something, I don't know what, but it's textured and it just says, "Love is art journaling." This is actually a piece of fabric glued down. Why is it so dark on that side? Easy breezy beautiful, super, just like lots and lots. Like I needed a lot at the time, probably trying to comfort myself, to be honest. I think I had just bought this stencil, if I remember right, so I was playing with the stencil. I was putting down washi tapes that I had made that I didn't like and painting over them, if I remember right. This whole page is washi tapes, and then I just painted a painting over it. The next time I did Dia de los Muertos, another practice with that hair technique, and this one the texture is just like barely there. This is painted all on fabric. I really liked this page, and I really liked this face. I don't really know what about it I super liked so much. Also, too, I really loved this painting. And I wrote, "Is this fine art?" because I was involved in some conversations about what is and what isn't fine art. And here's the page that makes me want to burn this whole journal, or literally just rip this page out. I'm gonna put the journal up for sale. If it sells, great. If not, then I might just take out some of the stuff I like, and sell those pages individually and just burn this page. Basically, I drew this and was super proud of myself. I really, really loved it, and I posted it, and I got a ton of people telling me that they loved it as well. And one of my friends, someone who was very close to me, chose to use it as an example of why something can be really pretty when it has been badly drawn. And then she proceeded to break down all the things I did wrong. That's not okay to do. So yeah, and this was another sample for Painted Faces 2 idea I was just trying to work out. This is pastels, hard pastels. And you kind of start to see things go downhill from here, because when that happened, I was so heartbroken and so shamed and just so like I couldn't wrap my head around someone doing that to me. And so the pages kind of get a little dark and a little not so great, because I lost all confidence, frankly, in what I was doing. This was another test. This ultimately did make it into the class, but yeah. And this was when I did a video as a zombie, because that same friend conned me into doing a video for Halloween in costume and then bailed and didn't do it themselves. People. Yeah, so again, lots of stuff that was like really dark, or you can tell my confidence was kind of broken. This also was a test for Painted Faces 2, and it did make it into the class. This was a test for Painted Faces 2. I don't know if you can tell, but that's string. I cut string up and glued it down to make the shape for the hair. And a similar version of this, not quite the same, but a similar version of this made it into the class. Again, this was another test run for the class, and I ended up using I think I did end up using this in the class. This is that rock candy crackle stuff. I don't have any of it anymore, but I loved it at the time. This is another one of those transparency pages that I didn't end up using for the journal I was making, so I just had it left over. This is kind of, you know, like I'm still trying to do self-therapy through the rest of this because of what happened. And this is a sealed envelope, and I have absolutely no idea what's in it. It's a card. I can feel it. Probably a card that someone, an art friend sent me, but it's completely sealed up in there. And I don't remember if this was just a drawing or if I was trying something for a class. Can't remember. Then I decided, someone asked me, I can't really remember how it came about, but someone basically was like, you know, do backgrounds to finished pages or something along those lines, or different techniques for backgrounds or something. So I cut a handful of pages in half. I just razor bladed through it, and I did a series of videos on each one of these little pages. This one's also texture. This was just sunflowers I hand painted. But yeah, this has beads and stuff in it. But this was a whole series of videos. I'm pretty sure they're still on YouTube when I made all of these. So yeah, 4. 1, 2, 3. No, 3 pages cut in half. This was the technique I was trying for Painted Faces 2. And this one did not make it into the class because it just didn't show through. That was glitter, and you can't really even tell. I had thought you would be able to see it through, but no. Super busy, because this is the kind of stuff that I do when I feel uncomfortable about drawing faces. I will get really involved in ink and marker and drawing. This is I Can't Breathe, and I wonder if that wasn't from the man in New York that they, the black man in New York that was murdered. I think Eric Gardner was his name. I don't remember though. I'd have to go look up the dates to see if that's what that's from, but probably. Again, that friend that I had that was teaching me to to draw little faces that weren't regular people. Finally started to feel better about doing faces again, but you can clearly see still very unhappy. It just is what it is. Yeah, and you see this a lot, really, because like my mind is trying to come to grips with everything. And I used to ask, that used to be like the question I asked myself all the time. I don't tend to ask myself this anymore, so I think that means I have grown a lot, but that really is a question. At one point, I was actually going to have that tattooed on my wrist, really, with a question mark and a bang. But yeah. This was also a test for Painted Faces 2, and I think something similar did make it into the class, but I don't remember exactly. And just I was doing that inking thing again. This might have actually been a video to show how to do that. I don't remember though. This is like my daily to-do list. I really do that stuff in my journal all the time. This page is super dark. I got a feeling I used some type of spray ink or something on this page. It's usually when I see a page that's like really kind of dark, that's usually why. This was me drawing just random things that I saw on Instagram. So there was a picture of a dog. There was this girl. There were these houses, these buildings. And this was me just goofing around one day with crackle paste. And then I couldn't figure out what to do with it. And I decided it looked a little bit like a creature from the sea. So that's what I went with. Super dark, like I said. There was a lot of dark pages in here, and also too with some of my journals you're going to find they don't have the nicest language. Again, I'm just real in my journals. I get annoyed when people who I know for sure talk like a trucker, and yet they will in polite society get upset with someone for talking like a trucker, and I'm like, but dude, I hear you do it all the time. What are you know what I mean? Like, that drives me crazy. Because we just can't be real in public, it seems, for some strange reason. I had was playing with this foam that someone had given me in an art trade where you could heat it and impress things into it. So I heated and impressed a paintbrush into it, and then I forget what this was from. I want to say it was from textured wallpaper, maybe. And I heated the foam, pressed it onto the textured wallpaper, and then that gave me a stamp. And I was finally starting to get better because I said the catalyst of change surprised me, because that, page from back there was such a shock, and it took me this long to get to the point where I had accepted it and realized that it was not a bad thing, because it got me out of that friendship and helped me to love myself and my art a little bit more than I on a different level than I did back before that happened to me. Again, just drawing random things that I saw on Pinterest, Instagram. It's really fun to do that. You just open your Instagram, go to like the explore, so that it's not so that it's like completely, well, I don't know if Explore is completely random, because I'm sure there's an algorithm to it, but you see a lot of random stuff. Nowadays, I would say go to TikTok, because gosh, TikTok is just complete randomness and so much fun and a huge time waster. And again, still trying to figure it out, 10 steps to self-care. However, this was the beginning of 2013, January, and boundaries was my word. And I'm sure you can understand what happened to me back there, why I needed boundaries at that point. I needed to figure out how to set boundaries for myself. because that stuff is not cool. And it's really funny that I said don't be a people pleaser, and yet I still, to this day, struggle with being a people pleaser. I please people who don't deserve for me to please them. Give love, trust, and listen to others. Give, but don't allow yourself to be used. Love, but don't allow your heart to be abused. Trust, but don't be naive. Listen to others, but don't lose your own voice. So I learned, I really did. I learned from that. And this is one of those pages where I literally just journaled out a whole bunch of stuff about how I felt about what had happened to me and what that person did. And then I painted over it to make it something that didn't hurt me. And for me, written journaling is almost always about dumping of emotion so that I can examine it in a written form and then get rid of it so I don't have to always live with it. That back there was the first time art had been used to hurt me. And that's what all that journaling is about. Dear Negative Nelly, go find someone else to bug. I'm busy being happy and having great success. This is my attempt at self-talk and what do you call that? Fake it till you make it. Like, I'm gonna be happy and ignore you until I really do feel happy. And someone sent me these lovely little feathers. Can't think of the bird. Why does that bird name always go out of my head? I don't know. And this was just a painting I did on a random piece of paper and wanted to include it somewhere. So I included it here at the end. And that's why I taped it in, because both sides were painted and I didn't want to lose either of them. And yeah, that is the end. So like I said, if no one buys this, I will totally understand and get it. And I'm going to probably just burn the stupid thing. And this is also, in my opinion, a really good example of why hanging on to your older art journals aren't necessarily all that great of an idea, because just looking through this brought it all back and upset me again. And so when I hear people talk about being triggered, I always am like, I don't know how I feel about that concept. But if that is a real thing, that's exactly what this journal does. So I don't ever want it in my studio again. All right, that's it. Thank you so much. I will see you around the internet.